one night stand. When you know my heart's love for you run real deep. When you keep the love I desire far from me. Yeah, you expect much more than you're willing to give. People say I'm crazy, not willing to admit it.
Hi, and thank you for tuning in to Street Therapy. I'm your host, Tyra Jackson, and today's special guest is Masha Dowell. She's an actor, she's a writer and director. Hi, Masha.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
Thank you so much for taking the time out to come and talk to us about what it is that you're doing.
Thank you.
So, can you start off with a little bit of brief history about your education and background?
Sure. I'm a scientist by trade. I worked in a scientific field as a researcher and then worked my way up as a scientific writer and quality manager. And then I transitioned into a filmmaker.
Scientist.
Yes.
Now, out of all the things, why science?
I believe that I did it because of my parents initially,
Oh, okay.
because I wanted to be an artist starting off. However, they were like, you need to go into a more stable career. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm very much impressed. How long did it take you to go to school?
I went to school. I just have a 4-year undergrad degree. However, it took me a while to work my way up to management, working for a scientific company. So,
Oh, good.
yes.
And where are you from originally?
North Carolina.
Okay. Oh, North Carolina. We might be related.
Are you from North Carolina?
My family originally comes from North Carolina.
Really? I'm from
Yeah.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So.
Okay. I have to, later on, have to ask my mom, what part it is.
Yeah.
That's great. So when did you know that you wanted to get into the film industry?
I wanted to be an artist when I was probably 5 years old. And there was a situation that happened at school. I was in a play, and I was supposed to be an understudy. However, the person I was doing an understudy for, they were not there. And so I took over, and then I kind of was like, I wanted to act. And from there on, I, performed at home with family and friends, but nothing, major. And then, like I said, I got not lost, but I found myself in a scientific career. And then from there, it's like I ventured into acting and now filmmaking. So.
Really? So acting came first,
Yes.
and then which came second?
Writing
Writing
and then directing.
and then directing.
Yes.
Now, which do you get the most enjoyment from?
Acting.
Acting.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really awesome. Because
Yes.
I know there's so many people out there that want to pursue acting and filmmaking and directing, and it's really hard.
Yes.
What challenges are you facing right now when it comes to being an actress in Hollywood?
Well, the main challenge is that I may not fit not stereotypical. I might not fit the role that they're seeking. And it's like you have two choices. You either go along with what Hollywood wants or you create your own projects. And that's how I became a director and a writer, because I'm not going to wait for anyone to tell me how I'm going to succeed. I'm making my own way. That's how I started creating my own projects.
Oh, good. So I understand that you just told me that you're from North Carolina.
Yes.
And then I read that you lived in Atlanta.
Yes,
for a while.
I went to Performing Arts High School in Atlanta at Tri-Cities, Magnet School in East Point, Georgia, for 1 year. So I was there, and then it's like I always go back to Atlanta. I think it's because Atlanta is the first place where I was exposed to theater. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because Atlanta is so hot right now with
Yes.
the entertainment. What brought you to LA?
I'm one of those people, I'm traditional. So Hollywood is traditional and conventional. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it, the way that people have done before. However, I do want to go back to Atlanta. So.
Okay. Now, I was looking at your website, and I saw some interesting things on there. And one of them, I saw that you like to be referred to as the mindstress.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little more on that?
I would like to be referred to as a mindstress because I like to think a lot. I like to listen to what people say, and then I'm very curious as to why they said it. And I think that you can tell that because I like foreign films. And I feel like foreign films are more intellectual than American films. But it's like I think I like it because I like to learn. I like to think. I like to view projects, whether it's film, art, or, et cetera, and then you take one story, and then everybody has different viewpoints of it. So
I can understand that. So why do you like foreign foreign films?
I
What's
like
so
foreign
special about
films. I think they're so special because when I watch them, they have unique storylines. They're not predictable. The actors that they use are realistic, and I feel like they're more passionate.
More passionate?
Like whatever the subject matter, it could be. Like yesterday, I watched a film that was a French foreign film about a girl that worked at a place training killer whales. And I mean, the story was so deep. It won all these awards at Cannes and Sundance. But I'm like, who has a storyline, you know, of a girl who, you know, trains these killer whales, loses her legs, but then she meets this guy who's on the, you know, the end of his life or the edge of his life. But it was an inspirational story. But I really liked the storyline. It was unique.
Oh, good. Now, I had to write this down because I also saw on one of your blogs, and it
Okay.
says, I thrive when I simply observe, think, and create. So what do you mean when you say you know, you thrive, you know, when you create?
Like I like to observe people because I don't know, I like to see where they're coming from. I like to hear their story. And then I like to see what they do with the situations that they come from. And then after they do that, I like to create something from that situation. Like, I'll give you an example. Today, I did some interviews of some celebrities in Beverly Hills. And then I rode the bus all the way down here. I think we're in Bellflower?
Yes.
Yes. And so I was observing everybody on the bus, and I was like, you know what? This is a story. This is a story how I'm interviewing people that are A-list filmmakers, and then I'm coming here to get interviewed as an independent filmmaker. So it's a story, you know.
Well, again, thank you for coming, and I'm so
You're
happy that, you know,
welcome.
we're having this conversation because I hope that someone out there, you know, can tune in and maybe pick up some pointers and some tips, and we'll probably give that a little bit later on.
Okay.
So when I think about writing, and you said writing is something that, you
Yes.
know, that you really love, where does your creativity come from? Because I also know that you're Christian.
Yes.
So where does your creativity come from?
My creativity comes and goes. Like sometimes if I feel like very external, I like to act. I like to direct. But if I'm feeling like very internal or introverted, I like to write. And so my creativity can come from anywhere. It could come from a conversation with a stranger, from a child that tells me about their life story. It could come from anywhere. It could come from like, because I always find myself in these unique situations, and then from there, like a story or a thought will create a story. So.
Okay. Well, also too, because I consider myself to be, you know, a writer. I don't know if you looked
Yes.
at any of, you know, my blogs. I talk about all kinds of certain things, and but when it comes to stories, I think there's totally, you know, I'm sharing a story about my personal experience.
Yes.
And would you say you share stories about personal experience or other people's personal experience, or a little bit of both?
I focus on my stories. I focus on my stories because a lot of people, their stories might be very personal. They might, you know, get sad, or they don't want to talk about it. And with me, I'm like an open book. So I feel like everything I've been through, good and bad, is a lesson for life. And I really like when people take what I've been through and use it, you know, for some type of education. Because my life mission is to educate through film. So whether it's life stories, you know, wealth, you know, humanity, just to educate through life stories. But I like to use my life stories or things that I've observed or been a part of. So.
Okay. So when you're writing, do you ever get writer's block?
Yeah, I do.
So what do? When you get writer's
I just
block?
stop writing, or I'll write with someone who is more passionate about writing than I am. Because 2 weeks ago, I'm writing a new web series called Directing Her. And so I added in a group of writers to help me because I knew that I would probably eventually hit writer's block. And so they came in, and their personalities are totally different than mine. And so I feel like that created more creative, you know, energy or juices or whatever.
Right. So when you talk about collaboration on certain types of projects, how do you find the people that you collaborate?
To be honest, I believe that it's like divine timing because when I've been out in LA for a year and a couple of months,